fun to it. I think that a lot of people don't like database because they don't understand how to make it fun. It's a pretty boring topic. But how many of you guys know the things that we're doing in business, sometimes they're boring, right? I tell people that success is doing the same thing over and over again, right? So it does get pretty boring. So I want to just go around the room. If you could just introduce yourself, tell me how your position and how long you've been a realtor or in real estate. And if you could learn one thing today, what would it be? So let's start with you.
I'm Mandy. I've been in real estate 3 years and I have 1,500 people in my database and I don't have a clue what to do with them.
Woo! All right.
Yeah.
So if you could learn one thing, what would it be?
I really want to learn how to do like a drip campaign.
Okay.
And use my tags better, I guess, because I know I have to somehow organize them as far as what type of clients they are.
Yep. Okay. This is going to be interactive, so I will just say this. We want to keep it proprietary if it's okay. I do share my database while we're going through things just to show you what it looks like. For me, I don't like for people to just tell me things. I have to kind of learn it through experience. So we agree to keep the information that comes up on the screen confidential because it will be some type of client information. So thank you for that. Smart Plans Tags and Organization.
I'm Mags and I'm new, still new. I still
Okay.
need to use that tag. And I am just building my database. I'm
Okay.
just starting to transfer, so I want to understand the best practices because I know what you put in is what you get out, the bad in is bad out. And I want best practices, to build it right.
I love that. I love it. Okay, thank you.
Me?
Yes.
I've been in real estate for about 7 years now, but only 1 year has been full-time.
Okay,
And previous to that, I was an administrator at a church.
okay,
And all of my clients came from the church. I did 6 to 8 transactions a year, which with a full-time job was plenty.
right,
But that kind of fell apart just about a year ago.
okay,
And so I've been starting to rebuild, so I know nothing about doing anything with my database.
okay,
I'm planning to hire my 31-year-old son to be an assistant to me,
okay,
because he's a tech dude,
good,
and he can help me with the database and the command and social media and all of that.
okay,
So I gotta put it all together.
okay,
I
perfect,
basically had no database as of February 28th of last year.
okay, perfect. And I guys, if you see me with my phone out, I'm just taking notes. But I want to make sure that I put your point up front. Putting it all together. Okay, thank you. Okay, how about you?
Hi. In real estate for 3 years now
Okay,
in Virginia and in Florida now for a year.
okay,
I do plenty of people. I started doing a couple of smart plans with mixed responses. But some people did actually respond, who is this? And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, this is such and such. And
right,
they're like, oh, we moved to another state. Like, they're real people.
okay,
And I need to take it to the next.
okay. So taking it to the next level. Okay, all right. Okay, we'll start with you, then we'll go. I can't see your name tag. Lord, I wish I could though.
My name is Amanda Castle-White and I've been in real estate for about 7 months, very part-time. And I'm just trying to learn like command basics.
Okay,
So
perfect. Okay, so command basics. How about you?
Hi, John Warner. Been in real estate almost 10 years. But with Keller Williams for since August.
Okay,
What I did is with my database, because I had over, I think it was over 3,500 contacts.
okay,
I didn't want to do a data dump into command.
right,
So what I did is I went through my past clients where I sold,
right.
sold or they bought and stuff. I had those all organized.
Okay,
Then recently I just uploaded any renters that I still had owned. I had their first and last name, phone number, and email address. And that's
Okay.
it. And then I also did that with past buyers and sellers.
okay,
I
perfect.
did some organization.
Okay,
The one thing I did do a smart plan. I thought I was sending out 208 to 208 people. But when I double checked, it didn't look like they all
got it.
got it.
Okay.
So hopefully figure that out.
Okay, so just some organization and best practice
Organization,
too.
tagging, and where to go to make sure the plans all went out like I wanted.
Perfect. Do you have a tech director here? MCC.
Right here, right there.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. That was my next question, because that's your best friend. Okay. Okay, so we're introducing ourselves, how long you been in real estate, and if you could learn one thing today, what would it be?
My name is Danica. I've been in real estate. I started with Keller Williams last June.
Okay.
It was part-time, then came back full-time. I used to do real estate in 2015 though.
Okay,
When I was in North Carolina, I got out the military Remax and then that didn't work, so I took a break
okay.
and then came back to it. If I could learn anything today, I think just how to set myself up better as far as gearing towards less of the work, right? Set up my database to where like it's sort of on cruise control, like automation.
Yes, that's the word. Yep, all right.
Taking my half of the sandwich.
That's the word we're looking for, great, automation. That's what your smart plans will do for you. Good to know that.
So my name is Paola.
Okay.
I've been in real estate like a month and a half,
Woo-hoo!
like something like that. And I don't know, I just want to learn like the basics of.
So command basics, all right. So we'll say best practices in command basics, thank you.
Hi, my name is Lindsay. I am an admin for a team
Okay.
here. And I've been doing that for three and a half years.
Okay, awesome.
My big thing is that my Rainmaker has like 5,000 plus contacts on command, and it's so any cleanup tips,
Okay.
and I don't know if that's like a, going back to the tags organization, I'm sure there's a lot of things that people have already said that'll help.
Perfect.
And then also if you have any like team specific tips when it comes to organizing your database for a team.
Okay, perfect. Okay, this is gonna be good, all right. Okay. Next,
My name's Sharon. I've been in real estate for about 2 years.
Okay.
Just really wanna get more involved in the
Good.
organization.
good. Command is a great tool. I'm telling you, I fought it for years. We gotta just lean into it. Good.
Cole Price, I've been a realtor for just over 4 years, and I wanted to get more familiar with Command, because I've been using a different CRM that I haven't really been satisfied with. And
Okay.
like, trying to do more, like I said, smart plans, more market reports for clients, keeping them updated. Because like watching some of the Scott Lilly videos, it's so confusing. It's like a 2-hour video for a little 5-10 minute thing.
Right.
Everything. So I don't want to watch the Scott Lilly videos for 2 hours just to find a little 10-minute
Tip.
tip.
All right, so some simplicity. I'll give you some tactics that just make it simple. Something that you can do while you're waiting to get the bigger things. I think that's another thing. When you're starting working your database, Command has so many things that it can do. If you sit and try to learn all that stuff in one day, you really won't. You really gotta master 2 or 3 things and let that lead you to your next 2 or 3 things, if that makes sense. So I'll give you those things as well. How about you? Hi.
Hi, I'm Rose Alexander. I've been in real estate, going on 4 years this year. What I would like to learn, I have a different CRM, but,
Okay.
I focus a lot on people who would be on the website right then.
Okay.
And probably my focus would be trying to get to everyone else. And then also if they blocked a lot of information from that CRM, I put them in Command.
Okay.
So to try and get them another way, to keep going another way. So I do want to learn some more of the Command things for those kind of people. And then kind of just navigating time better, because I have drips, I have all these things going, but where to focus.
Okay.
Basically that.
Perfect. Okay, good. Focus. Okay. All right, good.
I'm Sierra Burgess. I have been in real estate for about 9 months.
Okay.
And my database is pretty small. I don't have a large sphere, so really working that database is still my focus.
Yes.
But smart plans and really like how often we can send what sorts of things out. Maybe for people who have had more experience with that, I could definitely be finding out sort of what's a waste of time to send out, because the things that people respond to the best.
Okay, perfect. Gotcha.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I joined Keller Williams in August
Okay.
last year. about 6 months or so.
Mhm.
With my CRM, my challenge is, I moved here from Chicago, so most of my contacts are from out of town. So how
Okay.
do I utilize that
Okay.
to benefit my business with my out of town contacts?
Okay.
Good question.
The referrals. Okay.
My name's Eddie Barton. I've been in real estate about 6, 7 years.
Okay.
I'm currently the productivity coach for
Awesome.
the office. And I mean, a lot of people have brought up good points. My big thing would be automation. I
Okay.
kind of like to set it, forget it.
Yes.
And that'd probably be my biggest takeaway.
Perfect. Awesome. And then I know we had 3 people come in, so I'm gonna start with you and then we'll finish with you guys and get started. Oh, 4. Right. Okay. So we'll start with you, then you. Okay.
I'm Kenya Peralt.
Hi.
I am from California. And I just got my real estate license last month.
Woo, girl.
1 week into Keller Williams. And I have the same question because I'm from California. And yeah, somebody was like, you need to leave here and go to her class. So I left the suburban Tampa office and I came here.
I love that. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I'm excited to share you guys with you guys. Thank you. Okay. Deborah.
Deborah Sarmiento. I've been in real estate for 9 years, with Keller Williams for 7.
Okay.
And I'm glued to the floor. I will never leave Keller Williams.
Me too. I feel the same way.
And I would like to get a little more savvy with automation and smart plans.
Okay. Perfect. That's awesome. Georgette, good to see you. How are you?
Good,
You've been in real estate 6 years.
same as you, we
Yeah.
spent together.
Yeah, yeah.
Same office,
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Yeah, 6 years I've been in real estate, and what I wanna learn is lead conversions.
Yes. Perfect.
I have a
Love
lot
that.
of leads, but not all the time
Converting
to
them.
make this.
Yep. Good, good, good. And we got you. Did I sure, nobody said? Okay. Okay, perfect. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm gonna just take a picture of this, guys, real quick, so I make sure that we touch on all these points. And then I'm going to give you a Cliff Notes version of how I came to love my database. My database is my business. Do you guys know that if you were to leave KW, I don't own any KW buildings. The only thing I'm leaving with is my database. My database, I have my database evaluated every year. My database right now is worth 4.5 million. So I also buy databases, right, from agents that are getting out of the business because there's money in data. I want you to understand the power of data. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I have a marketing background. I worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield before I got into real estate. I have 5 daughters. I am married. My husband and I just celebrated our 11th anniversary. We got married on our 3rd date. So I met him one day, we went out on a date, and then the 3rd time we went and got married. So that's our story. And we had the last kid, and I didn't realize that I had postpartum depression, so I thought the job was stressing me out, so I quit the job. My husband said, I'm gonna go get my real estate license. He said, I want you to get a real estate license so you can help me. I said, okay, cool. I'll go get the license first, and then that way I can kind of get started and have some information for you when you're ready. I go through the class. In 2 weeks, I joined Keller Williams. I have some friends that I'm coaching and mentoring. We're doing, leaving our jobs together. I get started in KW. The next week he said, I changed my mind. I decided I'm gonna do something different. I'm like, but I'm already kind of like locked in with Keller Williams. I'm already here. And he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna do something different. So I decided to stay. And the reason that I came to KW is because I have, and you guys are probably the same way. I don't have a lot of time. Anybody got more time, like time on reserve, like you can buy time? Like when I got into this business, I needed to succeed quick. And I didn't need to succeed fast, just quick. I needed to know exactly what I needed to do to succeed so that I could do it and run with it. I did not have 4 years to figure it out. I looked at all the statistics that said when you build a business, it takes 5 years to get off the ground. I'm like, I don't have 5 years. I literally got like 5 months. So I got to figure it out. I got started in July. I got licensed, but I didn't really get going till maybe October, but I didn't have my first transaction till April. So you're figuring close to a year. I also have a publishing company, so I stopped doing that to do real estate full time. But when I started the business, I had a little bit of money saved up, so I was able to sit and go through really learning how to build a database. From July, when I got started, I was still breastfeeding, so I couldn't really kind of get into the office. October was when I could really like get out and start doing stuff. And I just worked my database because I didn't have anything else, right? So this is my story. My first year in real estate, I don't know how many transactions I did because I didn't know enough to count transactions at that time, but I made 40K, right? So when I made 40K, this is like giving it everything I got, right? This is like going to open houses, this is doing network events, this is like burning it at both ends. I made 40K, so this is my first year. So my second year, you know a little bit more, so you start to kind of streamline things a little bit more. My second year, I made 150K. And then my third year, I made 350. And my third year is when I stopped working after 5 o'clock and I don't work on the weekends. Right? So so my fourth year, we did $500,000. This year is my $1 million year, and this is my last year in real estate. So I am also the PC coach. I will continue coaching and I will do real estate with my friends and family. I have 4 expansion teams. I have 1 in Atlanta, I have 1 in Connecticut, I have 1 in Arkansas, and then I have my team here. And then the PC team, which is why I said, woohoo! I love helping agents build businesses on purpose. To me, the database is the surest way to get to your money because you know the people in it. You can categorize them differently. You can interact with them differently. And your money is always going to be in your database, not outside. So my first team leader, his name was Hank Sorensen. How many people know Hank Sorensen? Anybody? You know Hank. Hank was amazing. And I remember going to Hank. I said, Hank, how can I get more business? He said, how many people do you have in your database? I said, 1,500. He said, you don't need new business. You need to convert the people that are already in your database. So I'm a Christian. So a lot of the way I run my business, the way I do my coaching is going to be biblically based. But in 2 Kings, there was a woman, she was in debt and they were going to take her sons to pay for her debt. And they said, what do you have in your house? That is what I tell my children all the time. Every time we're looking for something, we tend to always go outward. And the answer is never out there. The people that you are already in relationship with are going to be the people that grow your business. I started to really move into testing my database. So the 4th year is when we did $500,000, but that's when I got to the point where we started the team. And then I realized that I had to start putting money into lead generation. And I said, well, what am I going to do with this money? I had a budget. I knew that we had about maybe $50,000 for the year to put into lead generation. And I said, am I going to buy leads from Zillow? Like, I know I have a team, so I have to buy leads because I have to make sure the team has opportunities. But I said, I'm not going to do that. You know what I did with that 50,000? I put it into my database. Everybody in my database, and I'm going to talk about KW lead generation model because that's what led me to my database model. And I just want to go over that with you real quick. But I did not put any money into paid advertisement for my clients. And I'll tell you why. When we have, how many of you guys have heard like a 19 touch or any like of the touch programs? So one of the touches is a cement activity, and it's usually a client event, right? At the time, I didn't really want to do client events. I still don't really like to do client events. It's just too much to do, too big, too fast. I just don't like it. And then I don't want to sit around and try to see everybody. I don't like it. So I said, I'm going to take everybody in my database. I'm going to spend time with them. I'm going to give them gift cards. I'm going to take them out to eat. I'm going to get to know them. I'm going to find out who their family is. Every one of my clients, I have had at least another transaction from. My biggest success story, there's one lady in my database, I've had 13 transactions from her, and she's never bought a house with me, and she probably never will, right? So when I got into it, that was one of the reasons that I wanted to get into this. So just going into understanding that my background is in marketing, I want to start there. So here's where we come through with this. At the end of the day, we're gonna be working with stable and unstable models and creativity. When people come into real estate, the first thing they always say, I'm always amazed when I talk to realtors, I'm like, what made you get into real estate? You know, what's the first thing people say when you ask them why they got into real estate? To help people? Well, that's good. I don't always get that. Flexibility, and I'm good at talking to people. How many of you heard that? I'm good at talking to people, right? I like showing houses. Are y'all ready for this? I hate showing houses. No, I don't. I have to know you intimately to work with you as a buyer. I don't like it. I like my database. I like sitting strategizing about my database. I tell people you don't win by playing by the rules. You win by having a strategy. So let me preface this by saying I am a New England Patriots fan, right? So you just have to understand that I am a by the book kind of person. And when you understand that your business is going to be how you design it, that's one of the reasons that I love KW, because you can design your business however you like it, right? So when I began to say, what kind of business do I want? Why did I get into this business? I got into this business for time freedom, right? I knew I don't mind working hard. I just want to determine when I have to work, because I have kids that need me to be there for them. I still can run a business and still be there for my family. The challenge is going to be how I do that. And here's the thing. Models give you a foundation to build from. And it's important that we talk about this because you're building a business. And I want you to think about your business like a Fortune 500 company. If you got 2 people in your database, treat it now how you want to see it in the future. Treat your database now how you want to see it in the future. Don't do anything now that you wouldn't do when you had $1 million in your bank account. If you had $1 million in your bank account, are you going to showings on Sundays? No. Why? Because money's not a motivator. Money is only a motivator to a point. If I say to you, if you come to this training, I'll give you $10,000, you might show up. But if I say to Beyonce, come to this training and I'll give you $10,000, I don't really need to be there. She got enough money where $10,000 doesn't matter to her. And this is why the database was so important to me, because my coach told me if you lead generate, you don't have to tolerate. I enjoy my business because I don't work with people that I don't want to work with, because I lead generate. If I don't do well with you, I have an agent that I can refer you to and I can go on to my next work. So the model is what really helped me. Everybody got this right here? Yes. Okay. So I just want to make sure before we start before I start writing here, the model basically helped me decide how I wanted to lead generate. The lead generation is the foundation for your database. How many of you are familiar with KW lead generation model? Okay. This is so important. I'm going to teach you about the lead generation model first, because I can't teach you about the database without teaching you about this. This will be very short. So lead gen is done in 2 forms, marketing and prospecting. When agents come in, they always want to go to marketing. Marketing is going to cost you money, it's passive, and it's going to take a long time to get to results. How many of you got a long time before you can make money? Right? Here's my confession. I want to be more consistent than my bills. How consistent are your bills? I know mine's hit every month. I really want to be more consistent than that, right? But here's the thing. Prospecting is proactive. It's time intensive, but it gives you immediate results, right? So when I look at marketing versus prospecting, let me give you an example. Marketing is running Facebook ads. Marketing is running ads in your local newspaper. It's putting out, going to, different events, putting out your information and hoping people call you. It's passive. I didn't want to be passive with my bills because I knew that I had a little bit of runway. If I didn't get off that runway, I would have to go back to work, and I did not want to do that. So when I looked at these things, I understood the first thing with your database is for you to decide what you want your 4 levels of lead gen to look like. How many of you have decided the 4 ways that you're going to get clients? Okay, let me tell you why this is important. And we're going to do this here. So pull out a piece of paper and a pen. So when we talk about, I'm going to pull up this slide. When we talk about the lead generation model, there are probably, I would say, maybe 40 to 50 ways that you can find clients. And you have to choose the way that you want to interact with your clients. And the reason why you have to do that, and I want you to look at this list. I'm gonna put a list up here. I want you to pick 4. I would prefer if you pick 1 from each column. All right, good. If you could pick 1 from each column, and I'll write what mine are. I want you to pick 4, but 1 from each column. So my first one, and it's swapped, but I'll start out with my first one where it was when I started with the database. It was cold calling. It was sphere of influence, and I would say groups and community. Oh, community. Door knocking. Social media. All right, so these were my 4. How many people have things that they do every day consistently to grow their business? Is there anybody that has an affection towards like cold calling? Tell me.
Social media.
Social media. Do you have a system set up for it where you grab clients in from it? Okay, perfect. Huh?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so social media is one of them. How many, anybody else? Like, where do you get your clients from? Where have most of your clients so far come from?
I'm mostly a people person, so most of it is sphere of influence, just networking. I really just network.
Okay, so networking.
But
Okay.
mailers, I do mailers.
Okay, so your database has to support that because your database is going to help you take that to the next level. So anything that you decide that you want to do lead generation wise, your database is going to be the thing that catapults whatever you're doing. This is why you have to be very clear about what lead generation is and what it is not, because it'll help you run your database more effectively. I know a couple people mentioned, like, what do I do with the data? How do I get the most out of it? So here's one of the things that I want to tell you about your database in general. In general, your database is going to work by this funnel, right? So when I hear people think lead generation, I want you to, and when I hear people think database, I want you to replace database. Don't ever say database. Here's what I want you to replace it with. Database. This is your bank. Your database is your bank. Every time you add somebody to it, you are making a deposit, right? What happens when you make deposits? They go, if you make it in a savings account, what happens with the deposit? It builds interest. And what happens when you want to use the money? You take it out. So you have to look at your database as a data bank. Your first initial entry to somebody in your database is your first deposit. Every time you touch them, it's interest. The more you touch them, the more interest you got. That's the difference between a savings account and a money market account. My mother just moved all her money to Wells Fargo. I'm not Wells Fargo, Navy Federal. Apparently they're giving like 5% interest or something. So she's getting like $300-400 a month in interest just by shifting her money from one bank to another. So when I talk about your database, this is how I look at my database every day. I want to deposit at least $50 a day. That's my number. I have to deposit $50 a day. Right now, I'm adding about 200 to 300 people a day to my database. Some of them are just leads, 25 of them are contacts, 50 of them are leads. So 75 people a day that I actively, and I have people that also put data into my database, and I interact with the Mets and they interact with the not Mets. Does that make sense? Okay, so a Met here is, you have database tags, and you can, we'll go through tags, but you can go through database as Mets and not Mets. Mets are people that you have actually spoken to, talking to. They know your name. If somebody says, hey, do you know Cheesehead? They would say yes. Not met is people that we pull from the expired list. Like I'm interacting with all those people, but I'm not spending a lot of time with them. Because I understand that my ability to convert them is gonna be limited. I have to touch them more first. So here's why that matters. Lead capture is all you're doing with your database initially. Remember how we talked about how do I get started with my database? Only thing that I need to do to get started with my database initially is to take all this off. This is really complex, y'all ready? You ready? You have to get their name, number, email, address, birthday, social media handle. Isn't that complex? Anybody that you have met, that you know personally, that's in your database, if you don't have all of this data on them, that's the first thing that you do. You call everybody in your database and you get a full profile on them. Because this is going to help you start to now interact with them differently. All right. So you're going to go, if you have, you said 1,500 people, and I do this with my PC clients. So if you have 1,500 people on top of your lead generation, I do 10 people a day. So I literally put the whole 1,500 and I'm going to go through the first 10 and then keep going 10 every day. So understand that with your database, it's a long game, not a short game. I tell people, I don't want you to call 100 people a day. I want you to call 10 people for 100 days. Big difference, right? Because it's the consistency that's going to get you to where you need to be. So lead capture is just capturing their information. When people say, I'm going to lead generate, think all they're doing is capturing information. Because you have to set your mind right where your database is concerned. Because if you think you're going to call somebody and get a right now sale, you should be prepared for it. But if you don't get a right now sale, they have to go in your database. And if you are thinking in terms of I'm always building my database, when I have the opportunity for right now sales, I'm going to be ready with my skill set to convert. But I'm calling with the understanding that my number one objective is to build my database. I want to figure out how to get as much information as I can because I have to touch them enough. The more information that I have on them, the more ways I can touch them. If you only got their name and phone number, what's the only way you can touch them? Text and call. How many people got time to just talk on the phone every day? I know I don't. And I hate when people text me. I mean, I don't mind texting me if it's business related but don't text me in conversation, right? Just call. But these are people that you don't know. So you can't just pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I'm Mandy, how are you doing? You can't do that because you don't know them. So if you get as much of this information, I'll show you why you need this and why we diversify our touch, but they go into your database. So a lead is somebody that you only have their information, you have not spoken to them. You guys know the difference between a lead and a contact? So a contact is somebody that you've spoken to and they said, yes, she said, I want to keep in touch, right? So now the whole purpose of them being in your database is this: form relationships. What I do with my database is I form relationships. My team laughs at me and they laugh at me. They say, Chizette, if you, anything about my clients, it's in my database. I take notes on every single solitary thing. I follow them on social media. If their kids are graduating, if their father passed, if they got a promotion, I'm writing it in my database, right? You know why? Because if let's say they're went to college, right? And they graduated. Next year, I'm gonna put a reminder to send them a graduation card. It's been a year. How do you feel? Right? Because remember, this is relationship based. So remember how we talked about met and not mets? My mets are relationship based sales. My not mets are skills based sales. Two different things. When I establish somebody if I'm cold calling and I'm not able to do business with you right now, and we have a conversation and you give me permission to keep in touch, you are a contact now, and my approach with you is not sales-based, it's relationship-based. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the biggest component, because once we're relationship-based, we go together, we gotta do things differently. Right? Once that, think about this, your marriage is different, or your relationship with the people that you love is different from people that you just meet in the street. The people that are not met are the sales base. I'm trying to give you all my conversion skills working on it. But if you go in this database as a met, I'm working to build a relationship with you. I'm courting you. And I'm setting you up, preparing you for conversion. I don't need you to convert now. And let me tell you why I don't need you to convert now. I need you to know as much as you can about me, because I don't just want to convert you. I want to convert your friends, family, sisters, brothers, cousins, everybody at your job. I need you. I am building fans. So I have what's in my database called a fan club. When people are in my fan club, I love on them different, right? So I literally tag agents. I literally tag people and say, fan club. I know that they're a fan club member. If they have ever given me a referral, they're a fan club member. If they have given me 5 referrals, they're going to get a different type of relationship. But I'm telling you that anybody that's in my database, and this is how you know, I just renewed my vows. Now, it was very expensive. I had 10 clients there, actual clients, people that I met that were actually friends now because of the database method. So I want to tell you about one of the stories. So one of the stories, I called her on a cold call. I'm going to tell you this, and everybody is different. KW has 19 touches. I don't touch my database like that because it's a relationship based. My relationship with you cannot be like my relationship with her. Am I right? We all got spouses and children. Is your relationship with your husband the same way relationship you have with your boss? No, both relationships, and you're probably cultivating them both, but they're not the same. So when I put somebody in my database, I know that it takes 19 touches for them to do business with you. I tell my team, you don't have a right to their business unless you touch them 19 times. If you haven't touched them 19 times, you don't have a right to do business with them. So here's what I have in my database. You know what my smart plan says? 19 touch, right? And here's what it has. Touch 1, touch 2, touch 3. If I met them, I don't put what the touch is.
Now say that again.
I'm gonna tell you, if I've met them, I don't put what the touch is. I just put that I need to touch them every 3 to 4 weeks. I don't put what it is. And I'll tell you why. If I know you and you send me an automated email, I'm not doing business with you. I like relationships. If I don't know you, I'll take your newsletter. If I know you and you send me an automated text like she said, I was just going through my database and wondered if you were looking to buy, like, done. I do business by relationships. And I'm gonna tell you why I do business by relationships, because I'm a time-based person. I took 5 listings 2 weeks ago. I don't go on listing appointments. You know why? Because by the time they get ready to list, we know each other. The way the calls work is, Chizette, we're ready to list our house. Can you send us the paperwork? Every listing goes like that. Because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. I've already proven to you the kind of person that I am because I've touched you 19 times. Do you understand that when you get to that level of touch with people, and my touches are very personal, and that's what I'm going to show you. That's what I did with the $50,000. That's how that year I moved from 45 transactions to 65 in less than 5 months. And I'm going to show you how I organize this, and keep this up because this is what's important. So my database method is, the first method is understanding these 3 things. You guys can write this down. It's the method, it's the frequency, and then it's the conversation. The reason why I don't write the touch is because everybody is organized into these 3 things up front. Right? Method. How am I going to contact them? Am I going to contact them by phone? Am I going to contact them by text? Am I gonna contact them by email? Am I gonna contact them through Facebook? Am I gonna contact them through Facebook Messenger? Am I gonna contact them through LinkedIn? And you need to have at least probably 7 ways to get in contact with people. This is why the Mets, you have to have all their information, because if you don't, you're gonna be calling them every 3 to 4 weeks and you can get on their nerves. Nobody don't want you calling them every 3 to 4 weeks if they're not looking to buy a house, but you do need to call them. So you use all of this at different times, at different points, for different reasons. Now, keep in mind, the purpose of me deepening the relationship with the Mets is not for one transaction. Remember, my number one is cold call. I love cold calling. I love cold calling, but that's my number one form of business. The purpose of anybody going in my database is a 5 transaction minimum from that one person. So when I say I'm trying to build a relationship with them, it's intentional, but it's intentional how not to just build a relationship with you, but with everybody you know. So the frequency is how often are you going to contact that person? Are you going to contact that person every day? Are you going to contact them every 7 days? Are you going to contact them every 14 days? Are you going to contact them every month? Are you going to contact them every quarter? Are you going to every quarter or every year? You can determine this up front based on your conversation with them. Right? And then the conversation is just, what am I going to talk about when I call you? Is it going to be situation based? Is it going to be value based, where I'm trying to add some type of value to you? Situation based is whatever's going on with your life. Is it going to be Q&A? Is it going to be check-in? Is it going to be update? And updates could be about the market, whatever. Is it going to be check-in? So I always keep this in front of me: method, frequency, conversation. When I hang up, my notes say next method, next frequency, next conversation. And let me tell you what this looks like. If I talk to Mandy and she tells me that her husband is gonna have a job loss and they're just kind of struggling, trying to figure out what they're gonna do, and when I call her next, I'm not talking to her about real estate. I'm not gonna ever say to her on my next call, hey, do you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? She also is not gonna get a text message from me asking, hey, do you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? She also is not gonna get an email with a CMA or a market update for her neighborhood. That's not what she needs to hear. We're dealing with real people here. They got real lives. People do business with people they know, like, and trust, and that they know actually care about them. And here's the thing: when people really know that, you don't even have to be the perfect realtor, because that is a character trait that transcends above business, right? So if I talk to her and she said that, my method of contact is going to be 7 days, and it's going to be more of a check-in. But I'm also going to have an action step. If she tells me that, I'm going to send her a card. She's going to get a card that says, hey, Mandy, you know, I understand that life can be hard, but just know you got people praying for you. We're here with you if you need us. And then I'm going to call her next week to say, did you get my card? Just wanted to let you know I'm thinking about you and praying with you. I didn't mention real estate to her. People gonna buy, sell, and invest in real estate, period. All I want to do is be the person that they think of when they do it. If I don't convert them at the first call, meaning they're an expired, looking to do business in the next 70, 30 days, if they go into my database, I'm working to build a relationship with them. So I had a cold call, and her name, and I'm gonna pull her up on my social media, but her name was Emily. I called her. She was a cold call, and the call, she was just really kind of short, like, hey, I'm working. I was like, okay, well, if you decide you want to sell, this is prior to COVID. So I sent her a thank you card. I said, thank you for taking my call. Anybody I have a good conversation with, I always send them a thank you card, a handwritten thank you card. Why do I say handwritten thank you card? Because the average realtor does not. They're going to pay for a service to send them to me. Now, here's the thing. I don't send them, I have somebody else send them, but I do write the messages, right? I have a card writing service too. So we do handwritten cards for agents. So I have the service that, they do hit my handwritten cards. And I always follow up with the people to make sure they got it. Because remember, I got to touch them 19 times, right? The phone call was a touch. When I hang up, I'm sending a thank you email. Thank you for taking my call. 5 minutes is the template. I already got it done. I'm sending a card. That's a third touch. I'm calling to make sure you got it. That's a fourth touch. In a week, in a matter of a week, you have probably heard from me more than you've heard from your parents, right? Seriously. So now, remember, think about what becomes normal to people. What becomes normal to people is what they see all the time. This is why in real estate, we tell people, come into the office, engage, connect, because whatever you're seeing, hearing all the time will become normal to you. So now at this point, at 7 days, I'm almost normal, right? But I'm only at 4 touches. So I followed them on social media. So I followed her on social media. I didn't friend her, I followed her. So every 30 days, I would call her. She never answered the phone for 2 years. Every 30 days, I called her. 2 years, she never answered the phone. Never. I got a call one day and she's like, I think I want to list my house. I was like, oh, okay, great. And she's like, I follow her on social media. So she followed me back. She's like, hey, I've been seeing you. And we'll talk about how I use social media. I use social media as a touch point, not as a lead generation tool. But she called, we went to list her house. Now she said, I'm going to list my house. Obviously, she needs to buy another one. So we listed her house. She bought a house. Great transaction. I really like her. I admire her as just a woman, as a parent. So after the closing, I went by. I don't go to closings, by the way, and I don't go to closing because I want to come to your house. I tell people, closing is your financial business. I don't need to be there. When you get home, I'll come to your house. So I go to the house 2 days later, and I'll sit down and have dinner. I'm relationship based, right? So we get to her house. I order dinner, have it come over there. We sit down, we talk. We talk about her house and the new house, etc. So she says, well, this is just a home that I'm gonna keep for a little bit. I want to buy a house again in the next couple of years. Okay, cool. So we keep in touch. Things happen, life happens. End of that year, her mother passed. So I saw that her mother passed on Facebook. So I sent her, now I told you I have a budget for this. So these are my touches. So after, now I didn't count all the calls in between. That's not a touch because I didn't connect with her. Those are just things that happen, me leaving voicemails. But when I talked to her, she said, I got your voicemail. She said, I could not believe that you called every 30 days for 2 years. Here's the thing. What does that show you about my character?
And consistent.
But I'm showing her who I am, but I never told her who I was. I just showed her, right? And it only took, I'll be honest with you, a lot of those voicemails was slide broadcast. I use slide broadcast. So slide broadcast allows you to leave somebody a voicemail without ringing their phone.
What? Look at me, watch.
I get them.
Yeah, yeah, slide broadcast, you can, it'll just go, yes, slide dial, I'm sorry, slide dial. Slide broadcast allows you to do it to a lot of people at once. It'll ring, but it won't pick up. It'll ring and then it'll go right to their voicemail. It'll show like a missed call, but it'll go right to their voicemail. And guess what happens when people get voicemails from a phone that they did not hear ring? They're gonna check it because it's like, no, because you're like, it didn't ring. You're like, hold on, who is this? So you listen to it. Now here's the thing. I don't need you to respond to it because I'm just letting you know that I'm here, right? I just want you to hear my name, know, like, and trust, right? Your brain is wired to tune in to your name, right? We could be, what's your name? Danica. Now we could be having a whole conversation over here about something else. And I could be like, man, do you know Danica? She ain't even paying attention. But the second she hears her name, there's something in us that's wired to turn around like, what's she talking about? You're just inquiring because you know that something is over there concerning you. So I always start with, hi, Emily, right? So when we get to her, to her mother passed, she calls, she says, her parents have lived in the house for over 50 years. Her mother bought the house before she was born. I sent her it was like a little candle. I pulled a picture from her mom off of Facebook and I had it sent to her. Amazon cost me $20. I have a whole list in Amazon for bereavement, new child, with just very personal gifts that I can send to people. None of them are over $25. So sent her the card. Her dad, meet with her dad. We end up sitting down, we worked with homework. We got him in the new house, right? Then we got him in the new house. Then we sold the old house, right? But keep in mind, the new house has an in-law suite, so now we gotta sell her old house. That's 5 transactions in less than 13 months. But it took me 2 years to build that up. How did I do that though? I built it with a database. She was on a monthly call plan, just a recurring call plan, right? And my assistant will release the slide out every month. It wasn't really necessarily me calling her, it was my assistant releasing the slide out, but consistently. So then now, at this point, because when her mother passed, when her dad's buying, her dad's 80. So I didn't just deal with him, I had to deal with him and her. He has Alzheimer's, so it was just a delicate situation. So we just got to know each other and we really became friends. When the Whitney Houston movie came out, we got matching shirts, like we went to the Whitney Houston show together. But so now she refers her coworker to me. Coworker closed last week. He refers another coworker to me, she's listed now. She refers another coworker to me, we list her house next week. So what I'm saying is, this is, now we're on 8 transactions from 1 interaction. I need my business to be like that because that's going to give me more consistency in my income, right? So when she began to now she's a mail carrier. She's been a mail carrier. She calls me, she's like, and she's in Clearwater. She's like, I just talked to this lady. She says she's selling her house. Here's her address. And then I can call based on the conversation. So here's the thing about your database. Your database will allow you to create fans that will speak for you when you're not in the room. You don't know enough people to build a big business, but you know enough people who know enough people, right? So when you get to this level of this conversation, you're going to, when you hang up, you're going to say, I'm going to reach out to her again in 30 days on email, and it's just going to be a quick Q&A. That's how you set up your next. This is for your Mets. I'm gonna talk to you about how to do your not Mets, but the reason why I'm talking to you about your Mets are gonna be the one that you get repeat and referral business from. And that's really what we're after, because relationship-based business is easier to close, right? How many of you have had transactions that were just perfect? How many of you have had transactions that fell apart? Have you had more transactions that were imperfect or more transactions that were perfect?
Imperfect.
Lord, imperfect for me too. Here's the thing about the imperfect transactions. When they know you, they're patient with you. When they don't know you, they are uptight and annoying. So with her dad's home, oh, it's been a disaster. Still, now the roof is leaking. Like, I cannot tell you the challenges that we've had. She hasn't even mentioned anything about me being a problem. She's just like, thank you for being here, because she realizes what's happening is just something that I'm not an inspector. I didn't inspect the house. I don't know about the roof. It's just life, but I'm still there working through it with her. But she's still referring people to me because she understands who I am, and that because we have a relationship, our business is different, right? So I want to stop here to see if anybody has any questions.
Okay.
Sure, let's start with you.
Oh. Just as far as, establishing the frequency, and method, is this something that you are making notes yourself?
Yep.
Or, okay, so this isn't, really like a conversation with them as far as,
Nope.
What do you want from me? This is just you kind of in the conversation noting, I think this would be the best way.
Yep.
And when, and the time frame.
Yep.
Okay.
And before when we get to the end, I'll talk to you about like our personality-based sales team. But let me tell you what I do that on. However they first contact me, I believe that that's your preferred method of communication, and I don't take them out of that unless they ask me to.
Okay, that's a good tip. Let's hear. That's something it's, because I don't ever want to be annoying.
Right.
Because everybody's different.
Right.
And people have different preferences.
Right.
But that's a good tip for unveiling that without necessarily having to ask the question, how would you prefer to
Right.
be contacted?
But that's why you get as much of their contact information as possible, and you kind of filter through all these at some point, touch them every way, and then see how they respond to what. But however they contact you first is probably their preferred method of communication. And let me tell you how I know. I'm gonna come to you guys, I'm gonna get her, then I'll come to you guys. So I had a girl, she messaged me on Facebook and she said she wanted to buy a house. And I was like, okay, now my number is in my Facebook profile. So you went to my Facebook profile, you saw my phone number, and you still sent me a Facebook message. So my thing is clearly she don't want to talk on the phone. So I said, okay, great. Are you pre-approved? She said, no. I said, are you working with the lender? Now, all this is in Facebook Messenger. Are you working with the lender? No. I said, I can get you in touch with my lender with your email. She gave me her email. I emailed her my lender information. She spoke to the lender. She got pre-approved. Mind you, we never did a consultation. She spoke to the lender. She got pre-approved. She inboxed me. She's like, I got the pre-approval. I'm ready to start shopping. I was like, great. I'm gonna put you in touch with a showing assistant. They're gonna get out and show you the houses, show the houses, wrote the contract. She closed. I never met her. I don't know what she looked like. I never spoke to her. I don't know what she sounds like. Here's the thing. Every time I emailed her, she Facebook messaged me.
Okay.
So here's the thing. That's where she wants to be. A lot of time we lose clients because we're trying to get them to what's comfortable to us. If you want to be a Facebook message, as long as you're going through the steps that I need you to go through, I don't care. Right? So I called her a few times. She never returned my call. I would leave her a message and she would message me on Facebook. And I said to myself, well, why do you keep trying to call her when clearly this is her? Now she's young. I don't know how much of that is like the age group. She's like 28. I don't know how much is that like the age group, like the whole social media thing. They prefer to just do things that way. I'm okay with that. But here's the thing. Don't let somebody tell you because you don't. Now keep in mind, but when she went out on her first couple showings, I never had a phone number for her. Only how I got her phone number is when she went under contract and the title company called her and needed her phone number for the transaction. I called them. I was like, hey, you got a phone number for her? Because I didn't want to intrude. And this is why I said that once I got her phone number, I tried her a couple times. She's in my database as do not call. I don't want anybody from my team calling her. I put her Facebook handle. If you need to communicate with her through Facebook. Because that's her preferred method of communication. So here's the thing. I communicate with her now every 30 days, and my conversations differ based on how I see her showing up on social media. So I'll give you another story real quick, and then I'll come to you guys. So I'm a little bit of a stalker too. So I'll keep it. Yeah, just a little bit. So I have a girl and I don't know her very well, but I look up people on their tax records. I know where she lives. I know how much her house is. And I have decided that when she does sell, since her house is worth $1.5 million, that I want to be the one to list it, right? And I know she's going to be selling soon because I know she's in medical school. And I know that she's going to be doing her residency somewhere else just through third-party conversations. So, and again, so I'm watching her on Facebook. I follow her. She has a special needs daughter, right? So her special needs daughter joined something and she posted a picture of the little girl, her little thing, and she has a chair. Like she plays soccer, but she has a chair. So she plays it with the chair. And I just thought that was so cool, this league that has that. So the name of the thing is on there. So I called the place. I said, hey, tell me about your program. He told me all about the program. I said, okay. He said, well, we already started. I said, so when is the final game? Like, he was like, well, the final game is a doubleheader. It's this date. Okay. I said, what time is it? He told me. So I said, okay, I'll probably bring my kid. Now I don't have a special needs kid. I said, I'll probably bring my kid and sit in the game. Right. So I'm following her social media to make sure her kid's still like doing it. So I'm watching her stories. So every time the kid has practice, she posted in her stories. So when they got to the last game, I sent her flowers in a big balloon. I sent it to the kid. And then I sent her flowers and I said, it's nice to know that in a world where people have so many limitations that you're raising a young girl that has none. Now, she called me crying. Right? She was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, she was like, this is just so, I didn't put a realtor card in there. I didn't say Cheesette Cowan, your favorite realtor. I didn't do any of that. Right? Because that's so annoying. Like everybody else is already doing that. Like what sets me apart is I'm not like everybody else. If they doing it, I'm not. So when I sent that to her, she said, what made you do that? I said, because I watch people. I watch you. I like how you are with your daughter. I like how like she really goes above and beyond to make sure her daughter is included in things. I admire that. And I wanted you to know that I see you. Because I think sometimes when you're in situations like that, you don't know that you're doing the right thing. You feel like maybe she feels like I'm not doing everything. Maybe I could be. I don't know what she's feeling. All I know is that I want to make her feel good because I know that those are the type of people that I want to be in business with. I want to be in business with people that I can add value to, right? So it's not about her. I didn't care if she didn't sell the house to me. You can refer somebody to me. It will all be the same thing. The flowers totally cost me about $40. So it wasn't like it was so much, but here's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see if she would call me. Here's the thing. I didn't leave a number. I just put my name. She's at Cowan. I made sure I didn't write it in cursive because I wanted her to be able to understand who it was. And I put my information on the card, like Keller Williams and my address, etc. She called me. So for me, when you call me, now that changes the trajectory of our conversation because now you're leading. She called me to say thank you. I'm not leading, asking her for anything. So now I just said when we finish talking, I said, well, I like to keep in touch. I said, I'm a realtor, so part of what I do is just keep in touch with people. Can I get all your information and keep you in my database? And if you decide you want to buy, sell, or invest in the future, I'll just be here if you need me. And she said, well, I'm in medical school and we're probably going to be selling in the next maybe 6 months because I'm going to be doing my residency. I said, okay, great. I'd love to be a resource for you when you get ready. So that was 2 months ago. So she's on every 30 days, right? So she is on a neighborhood nurture for her address. Do you guys, everybody in your database, you got to have their address because they should be on a neighborhood nurture. That is the easiest way. So if you go to, and I'll show you how to do that right here. So this is why I wanted to have like my database up to show you kind of what that looks like. You guys can see this, right? Okay. So if you go into database, the easiest smart plan to get everybody in your database on, and this is a reason for you to call everybody if you haven't, is the monthly neighborhood nurture. Buyers and sellers, not just sellers. So the reason why you want sellers on there is because it's going to give you, it's going to email them market reports on their neighborhood so they have updates. The reason why you want buyers on there, I have buyers in South Florida that are looking at Wesley Chapel. I just put Wesley Chapel address in and I put them on the neighborhood nurture for Wesley Chapel because that's where they want to live. I want you to get a snapshot of what's going on in Wesley Chapel. So when they get that email monthly, they think, wow, Chizette's paying attention to our patterns and where we want to go. So if you go to Smart Plans in your command, you go to Smart Plans, and then you go to Library, and then you put in, they have monthly and then they have bi-monthly. I have both in there. So this monthly neighborhood nurture, this first one, the Keller Williams has to be the author. Like not, see how this one says Marty Miller? Like not that one. See how this one says Hunter Gore? It won't send unless KW is the author. So you want to take this one and add this smart plan to your database. And then here's the other thing. There is an intro to the monthly neighborhood nurture. So this is the email that they'll get first. Let me see, view steps. Yep, this from KW. Yep. So it basically says, it won't show you. I wanted to tell you about a new feature, My Neighborhood Nurture. You're going to get these emails, but it just gives them an intro into what they're going to be getting monthly. And then it goes right into automatically neighborhood nurture. You want to know what's also awesome about the neighborhood nurture? It unsubscribes and resubscribes every month. Did y'all know that? No. Yeah, so every month when it's done, it ends and then it starts the next month. That means it's hard for people to unsubscribe from it. Because when they unsubscribe from it, it stops. And then next month it starts again.
Getting those emails I unsubscribe from.
Because if it's ending, all it's gonna do is end and you're unsubscribed from that. So when the next one starts, you gotta unsubscribe again because they're different campaigns. So with this one, I wanted to show you this because I wanted to go through my database with you guys because I think for me, I have to see sometimes how some of this stuff works. So let me just give you a client and I'll show you how I use the database with him. So this guy's name is Richard, but if you look, see how he view listings today. View listing, view listing. He be on this email more than me. Like he be up here viewing everything. But here's the thing. I go to his house. Now we were keeping in touch and he was on and this is why you have tasks. I'll show you how to work tasks. But he had a task. Let me show you what the task looks like. So when you go to tasks, any of you guys use tasks? Okay, so the task is basically when you come into your the day before is what I look at my task. Don't look at them the morning of. So if I go to do today, and then I have a team, so a whole bunch of tasks are gonna come up. But when I go to do today, and I go to me, and I apply my filters, I have 21 tasks or 18 tasks that are due today, right? So this is everything that's due today. These are people that I'm supposed to follow up with. Go through your tasks. Make sure at your lead follow-up time that you're going through your tasks. I'm showing you this to show you that he was on a task. I did not reach out to him, right? I forgot because I was busy. I had stuff going on. The next month, I get he's a monthly recurring. I get a text from him and says, hey, we listed with an agent, but I have a few questions. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. You did what? So then they listed the house for 1.5 million. I'm like, oh, I'm sick now at this point. I'm like, how did I let that task slip through last month? Okay, fine, no problem. So I call him, and mind you, I can call him even though he's listed because I didn't call him. He called me, right? So if you, oh no, not her. Where's his record? Hold on. Is it this one? Okay. So if you look at, and I actually did this live with my PC team because we do interactive database calls. This is, so I spoke to him and he was on set. And then I added him to the bi-weekly smart plan. And then we talked and he said, if it doesn't work out with this realtor, I'm going to be listing with you. So now he has a task right here for me to call him every 7 days. This is why you got to keep up with your tasks. I cannot tell you how much business I've missed from like not following up with people, right? If you have a 30-day follow-up, you follow up with people because here's the thing. I believe he would have listed with me, but he was like, I just forgot all about you. I'm like, how you forget about me? I've been calling you every month. But here's the thing. People, when they need something, they're not going to automatically be like, I got to call Chizette. Some people will, but the average person doesn't. It's just a matter of proximity, right? So, but he got in touch with me because he's looking at the neighborhood nurture. He's using the app a lot, right? So when I set up see how this says check back on listing, right? Everybody in my database that has a note, there's a lot of detail in them. So if you look at, let me see. So this one is somebody that it was a call for today. Now, all these tasks will get done today. But if you look at the task and you go to edit. If you go to, let me see, that might not be a good one. Let me see another one. Let's see who's in here. All right, this one. So on this task, if you go in here, he's going to speak with his wife, and I'm gonna follow up with him today. The purpose of me having that is you're not gonna call if you don't know what, like, this is telling me what I need to talk about. So when people say, I don't know what to do with my database, if you take notes, I don't speak to anybody ever without putting something in my database. Literally, when I'm on the phone, I got this open. Because look, I sent a text, I sent him my business card, calling you in 5, now reply. I put everything that I'm doing in here. See, I logged the phone call. He's speaking with his wife because this is my money. Remember, every time I touch it, this is interest. Interest compounds. The more you add to it, the more you get from it. I'm trying to build a relationship, not just to get his listing. I want everybody in his family. So I got to be interactive. So if he said he's going to talk to his wife today, I'm going to call him and say, hey, what's going on with this, that, and the third? Another thing that I use a lot of times is if I say, I'll tell people like, hey, I'll follow up with you. And then instead of maybe calling them, I'll do a schedule send. Have you guys used schedule send from Gmail? Okay, so
What's it called?
schedule send. So look at this. So because we were gonna be here today, I do stuff like this. It says, I know days are hard for you, so I wanted to send you a quick email and see what you thought about the information I emailed you last week. I sent her a CMA. I know you have a lot to consider and I want to be as sensitive as possible. She's going through a divorce about the matter, but I want you to know I'm here for you. Let me know when you want to connect on next steps. I had this message scheduled to go out at 11:45. The reason I didn't schedule it to go out earlier, she's a teacher. I know I'm gonna be here teaching. If I email her at 8 and she called me, she not gonna reach me. I canceled the schedule send because I got a text from her at 8:30 and said, I got the information, we want to go ahead and list. So I said, I gotta cancel this schedule send because after she called me and said that, I don't want her to get this.
Right.
This is automated. And this is why I don't put people that I know on automation, because if something changes from them, I don't want them to, this is insulting. After she texted me this, for me to go ahead and send her, this is kind of like, are you bipolar? Right, like who is this? But this is one of the reasons that I said in the database, when you look at his record, let's say I'm busy, right? And I can't get to him, I can just send an email. I can just call and I can just email and say, or the slide broadcast. I will have a slide broadcast go out to him at 1:30 and say, hey, I'm on my lunch break, just wanted to call and check in to see what you thought about X, Y, and Z. Give me a call when you can. Because I know that I'm going to be making calls from 3 to 5. So I know if I'm making calls from 3 to 5, I can follow up with him then. If he responds, I can go back to him. But I'm not missing any contact with somebody, right? So when we talk about these things are going to be the most important in using your tasks. So if there's a SMART plan, please everybody write that down. Intro to My Neighborhood Nurture and Neighborhood Nurture. Put everybody in your database on a monthly neighborhood nurture. If they're a buyer, put it in the areas that they want to live in. It'll only let you put 1, sometimes 2, but if they're looking between like Valrico and Sefner, put both of those zip codes in there and let them get that monthly email. And I'm sorry, we did not get to your questions. Go.
No, you're fine. I have actually another question.
Sure.
So I'm in the smart plans and it does not have the KW still. And
Because you already have it in your smart plan.
Oh, if you, you do?
If you've joined in the last,
Oh,
if you
good.
joined our office in the last 2.5 years, you have the monthly neighborhood nurture and biweekly already in your smart plan library. It was created when
Okay.
we set up. your
because
profile.
it says
So you already have
Barney Miller, so it doesn't have to have the KW.
are you looking in the library? Yeah, go to your library.
Yeah, go to your
I'm in the
library.
Oh,
My library.
Okay. You're gonna see it in there.
Yep.
You already have it.
Woo-hoo.
This is-
It's one of the 10 that's listed at the bottom.
That's
So
it. That's
yeah,
it.
it's one of those.
That's a tech trainer. You go, girl. You go, girl. And then I'll come over you guys.
I have a question. What do you use for a front facing website? Because I see that people are being tracked on their search. And I was wondering, is it through the app only?
I only use a KW. I don't have whatever website KW give you, whatever app. I don't use anything different. You know why? Because I think agents spend a lot of time trying to soup out their website and do all the stuff that don't matter. Only thing that matters is lead generation, lead conversion in your database. Nothing else in real estate matters. Nothing. Only thing that I do every day is lead generate.
So it's just your KW, your name dot KW?
Yep.
And that's your site?
Yep. And here's the thing. The reason why, and I would have thought literally by now that I would have a better website. You know why I don't? It's not affecting my business.
Right.
I mean, like my business is relationship based. I've never had anybody ask me for a website. I don't even really carry business cards.
I appreciate that.
And here's the thing, I have a digital business card and I only use this business card. When people say, where's your card? I say, oh, I ran out, but I have
Yeah,
cards.
how
I
did you
just,
get that onto that? You just send it through your phone?
oh, yep.
Yeah.
But I have this right here, so I love this. So this is my digital card. Let me tell you why I only use this card. Because if I send it to you, when I send it to you, it's also gonna capture your information and pull it and email it to me. So I'm gonna get her phone number. If she got, somebody at our office did it. It says,
Is it the Savvy
Is it
card?
Savvy card?
nope. Mm-mm.
Does it have an NFC reader or is
Mm-mm.
it like where you tap, like you can scan with a QR code?
Nope, I have to send them my card.
Oh,
So when I
So you
hit
have to get the
send,
number to
I
send it
put
to.
their phone number in here. And the second I hit send, I get an email. If they have a contact card in their phone, it's gonna send me your contact card. It's gonna say your card was shared with XYZ, and it's gonna give me your full contact card. So for me, I don't wanna give you my card because at the end of the day, if I give you my card, then you have my information, but I don't have yours. I'd rather you take it like this, so that at least I have yours. The only thing I have to remember a lot of times, and this is the hard part, is if I'm talking to 5 people and I get 5 people my card, I'm like, who is this? Like, that's the hardest part. But usually when I'm giving the card, I'll be like 342 Christie. Like, so I can kind of like keep the connection. But for me, anything that I do, I'm trying to capture information because information is power. So let me tell you how I got on the database thing. Go
Let me
ahead.
ask you a question real quick,
Yes.
sorry, before you get too far. You were talking about recording your notes every
Mhm.
time you have a conversation.
Every
recording.
time.
Do you ever use the Command app to do that? The mobile
Always.
version of, that's how you do it. So when you don't have your laptop available, and you can talk to text through
Yes.
that Command app to
Always.
record that note.
Always. And let me tell you why I got to this with data. So I don't know if people really understand this. When you go to the doctors, when they give you those privacy statements and they say you don't sell your data, you ever get those? That's because people sell data. Why do you think Zillow and all those sites are profitable as they are? Because all they're doing is gathering data. I tell people, one of the things that I wouldn't say I don't like it about Zillow, but all they're really doing is watching people's spending patterns, watching their searching patterns, and they're just pulling data and figuring out how to market to them. Why we can't do that? Why are we not grabbing people's data, figuring out their spending patterns and figuring out how to market to them?
You're getting way past the topic where I raised my hand.
Yeah,
And you
I'm
were
sorry.
talking about, no, it's okay, when you were talking about, the contact with and building the relationship.
Mhm.
And for the first 6 years of my business, it was all at that church that I was an administrator for. I had a relationship with all of these people, they all knew me, that's why they trusted me to sell their house. When I stopped working there, didn't have that relationship anymore, I was doing a lot of floor duty, I still do as much floor duty as I can every month. And what I discovered is these people come in off the street or they call in. And they don't know me from Adam. I wanna list my mom's house. I've moved her to Ypsilanti, Michigan. The house is in Kings Point. I mean, this is just an example.
Okay.
That's where it becomes tricky with building the relationship, cause I realized on that one. She got to a point where she wasn't trusting me, that we had a contract. The buyer's agent didn't do a good job, and it wasn't a Keller Williams agent. But hadn't done a good job on their end.
Okay.
And she was blaming me for like misspellings of their names. This is all what came in the contract to me. It's not anything I generated. And I ended up calling Dana Cates, who was at the time our interim team leader, and saying, would you be willing to talk with her and explain to her that I'm doing the right thing? Because
Okay.
she had this broker's license after her name, which helped.
Right.
So she did, she called, she talked her off the cliff. And from then on, it was good, but I realized that what I needed to do, and even though these people are at a distance, I need to still find a way to build rapport. And she and her mom had come into town for 4 days, and it was to empty the house. 4 days isn't a lot of time to empty a home. So I went over and said hello. I should have brought lunch, I should have brought wine, I should have spent a few minutes. Even though I knew their time was precious, I was trying to be cognizant of what they needed to get done. So what I've done now is people who, they come into town because they need to sell their home, they meet me, they know me, they don't know me at all. My husband and I take them out for dinner.
Okay.
If it's a couple, if it's
Yeah.
just a single person, I take them out to lunch or dinner or something and just spend time with them. So they learn me and I learn them. But I didn't know that when I started out kind of all over again. Cause all the other people I'd worked with all known me for years.
But here's the thing. Do you only want to do business with people you know?
I still, very little.
Okay.
The reason being the place that I worked, the wife of the pastor started a relocation business. And her partner is a realtor from a
realtor?
different firm.
When
So,
I said, do you
did
only
very
want to
little.
do business with people that you know, would you be open to doing business with people that you don't know?
Well, that's what I'm learning.
Yes,
And
so-
that's what I'm doing.
But here's the other part. If you have 20 clients in a month, can you go to dinner with everybody?
I haven't gotten that big yet.
But if you did,
Yeah,
you would go to dinner with everybody?
Yeah.
If you had 50 clients in a month, would you go to dinner with
I'm
everybody?
not.
Okay, so if you're not gonna do it when you got 50, don't do it when you got 0. Don't do it when you got 2.
Well, it worked though,
Right,
because then we had dinner with, especially this one couple. Well, I
but the thing
probably-
about it is things scale, right? Cause
Uh-huh.
what, if you, here's what I've learned about my business. If you do things one way and you grow and you don't do it that same way, those people won't wanna do business with you. Right? Because they will have associated this kind of business with you, and when you change, they think you change, so your business model has changed. So I always tell people, don't do things for 2 people that you wouldn't do if you had 100. And if you had 100 people, there's no way you could go out to dinner with everybody.
Right, but
So
you might go
here's,
out for coffee, or you might do something.
You might.
Smaller.
but here's where you set your expectation, your value proposition. You have to have a killer presentation, a killer listing presentation that goes over everything soup to nuts. So for example, let me, because I, again, am in, marketing and sales, let me see if I have one in here, hold on. I do, well, yeah, well, I don't have one for sellers, but. So this is my listing, this is my, my buyer presentation. So everything that I do business-wise is in here. And my consultations take about an hour and a half, because I go through everything you can expect. For example, when we get to the part on contracts, if you're a if you're a seller, I'm gonna let you know that we're gonna take each stage of the transaction and deal with it individually, right? So, but I let them know who I am as an agent and what they can expect from me. Because here's the thing, you're not gonna get everything from me. Some things you're gonna get from other people. I told you I don't show houses. I had to set that up for them during the consultation. So when I finish with them, they know how I do business. So what I'm saying is I'm setting the confidence in the systems that I have developed more than in my ability to be perfect, right? So no system is going to be perfect, but believe we have a system. And I'm saying that to say that you're going to run into those problem transactions, those one-off. You're also going to run into people that you just like and want to go out to dinner with and build relationship with. But the best way to set an expectation with clients is during your consultation. That is the best way to set that up, because when you set up a really good consultation, there should be no questions. And then we have email systems. So when I have email and text systems, when we move through different stages in the transactions, you get an email about what's happening and what you can expect from me. Right? So there's a lot of parts that a lot of realtors do in their business that I don't do in my business. I don't go to inspections, right? I have agents that are like, I have to go to every inspection. I'm like, why? Why do I need to go to an inspection? Do you know what pissed me off about the Super Bowl last night? Great game. Mahomes made me so mad. Like he made me so mad. You know why? You see, when he first got hurt the first time when he was running with the ball, what's a quarterback's job?
To throw the ball.
To throw the ball. Why are you running? That's not your job. You don't get paid to run, because here's the thing. If you run and you get hurt, you leave the rest of your team exposed. They're gonna lose because you won't be here to play because you want to show off and run the ball. The reason why I love Tom Brady ain't running no ball. I mean, I don't even think he know how to run. I mean, he looks very sloppy running. No, seriously, he runs really bad. His job is to throw the ball. When I sit down with somebody in a consultation, the first thing I'm trying to do is debunk what you think a realtor is supposed to do and tell you how I do business. I'm not going with you to everything. I'm not going to do everything, because that's not what realtors do. I am not an inspector. There is I can't add any value to an inspection. Sit there and look at you and do what? Like, I can't say to an inspector, well, you know, that really looks like a 3-4 inch nails, and it looked like it should be a 2. I don't know anything. I don't know that. I know how to read a report.
And say read the summary when it comes.
I know how to read a report.
Yeah.
If you want to go during the last half an hour, I have agents that can meet you there, and you can ask the inspector all the questions that you want. I will take your questions in my report, in the report when it comes to me, and we'll sit down and go over it. I can't.
About to die.
Oh, it is? It's not charged?
It says, well, big
Oh.
London.
Oh, it's not getting any power.
I just wanna let you know before it cut off.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Danica.
It's still no power. Yep, you're right. But here's the thing, most people in real estate expect their agent to do everything.
Try this one real quick. I don't know.
They, they expect their agent, I think it's a power thing though. They expect their agent, there you go. They expect their agent to do everything. And you know why? Because in the absence of value, people just are present. When you have value, you understand that I don't have to be present for everything. Because here's the thing, and I use football as an analogy all the time. Players don't win games, teams do. Everybody's got a part. You got a defensive coordinator, you got an offensive coordinator, you got special teams, you got a quarterback, running back. If the quarterback is trying to do the running back's job, we got a problem. First of all, why is the running back getting paid if I'm running? And then second of all, if I'm the quarterback, I have to protect the whole thing. I have to run the plays. I have to make sure everybody's in line. That's my job. So when I tell them, I said, I'm Tom Brady. I'm calling the plays. When I'm not calling the plays, that's when you call me out. My job is not to do I don't go to closing because I have a title company. Their job is to close you, not mine. I can't add any value at closing. What can I come to the closing to do except take a picture with you?
Witness.
Hold their hand.
Yeah, witness, but they got witnesses in the title company. I'm paying the title company. We're paying the inspector. I'm not going to the appraisal. We're paying the appraiser. I priced the property correctly from the door, right? And here's the thing. They trust you because you're upfront with them and you're telling them something different, right? Because the average person is always going to be like, I just need this lady said to me, she said, I want a realtor that knows the local area. Oh, you don't want to make the most money? The fact that the realtor knows the area is that's your whole qualification. Because if I don't know the area, but I understand marketing and could get you an offer for $25,000 more than the local realtor, do you still want the local realtor? What do you think the average person would say? No. And the reason why your database is so important, because your database will tell you where you're missing skills and it'll help you understand where you need to train at. So when I say where you're missing skills, if you have had 19 interactions with somebody and you haven't gotten one piece of referral business, et cetera, from them, then you need to go back and work on your lead generation skills. Right? How many of you script and role play every day?
Not every day.
No? Yeah, really?
We do. I think
do.
you said every day. So I said no. But yes.
Every day?
We offer it in the office, but not every day.
Okay. So I have script and role play every day for 6 days, sometimes 3 times a day.
Really?
Yes, because here's the thing. It's the playbook. It's how I convert. I have to have that skill set because if I'm not working on how to convert a client, when I get in front of them, how will I convert right now business? Right? Remember, there's 2 forms of business. There's right now business and there's nurture business. Your database is going to be all your nurture business. You still need to have the skill set to convert them right now. And part of the skill set to convert them right now is sales skills. So when I meet with my team, we do a lot of sales skills training because if you have great sales skills, you can set your business up the way you want to. Psychologically, the reason why I don't go to everything is because I don't want to. That's it. What I'm communicating to my client, however, is the fact that, and it's not wrong, is that you don't need me to be everywhere and everything. Right? You don't need that from me. You need me to get you to the closing table, and that's what I do. So I have to call clients all the time and, just have that conversation with them. But when you say that the best thing you can do is set up systems so that you have a predictable thing that happens the same. This will help, your database will help you create a uniform customer experience. Everybody should get the same experience. So when I say that some work has to go into your database, because here's the thing, there's everything in your database, and I'm going to erase this. Everybody got this? Okay. So the reason why work has to go into your database is because your database will allow you to create, and I saw somebody put this down, automations, right? So we're going to work through a buyer, are we mostly buyers or sellers? Buyer, 50-50? Anybody more sellers than buyers? Okay, so mostly more buyers. Okay, so we're gonna start with a buyer automation. Okay, I don't create a lot of smart plans anymore because I believe that the library just has so many of them, I just tweet them. All right, so here's what a buyer automation looks like, and this is why it's super important to have this kind of stuff in your database. So a buyer automation, let me see.
Can I ask a question? before
Yes.
we go into this?
I don't
So
know.
if your database, so I'm new to Florida.
Okay.
So my database is Tennessee.
Okay,
So how do you work with that?
how long have you been here?
Full time, a year. But I used to be a snowbird,
Do you have any groups that you're a part of?
a couple.
Okay, so I built mine through mom groups.
Okay.
So we homeschooled our kids until after COVID. All of my first clients were people from my mom's group. I always join mom's groups. And but I'll tell you this, when you join the groups, oh my God, please don't be the sleazy realtor. Like, don't do that. Like, I think what really makes people want to do business with you is when you really study your craft and you're good, right? The more time you put into real estate conversation, practicing, if they're having script practice, that thing should be full. There is no way out. Whenever they offer it, you guys should all be participating. You guys should all be doing it. You should all say the same script. My scripting does not change. I've used the same script for 6 years. That's going to be number one, because your database is going to be built by your ability to have the same level of conversation. When I cold call people, my team always says, you're really good at it. And my response is practice. I've been saying the same thing for 6 years. I should be good at it. It's always time at bat, right? The more opportunities you have to be at bat, the more opportunities you're gonna have to run a business. And script practice is an at bat. You need to have, I tell my PC team, you need to have 60 at bats a month. So script practice is an at bat. Cold call, if you actually spoke to somebody, that's an at bat. You need at least 60 at bats a month, right? Meaning 60 times where you're having these conversations. And if you go to script practice and you don't actually participate, that's not an at bat. At bat is actually you doing it, right? And the reason why is because part of the things that you're going to have to focus on just need to be second nature. One of the reasons that I love the Army, do y'all know, like, anybody retired? I mean, any military? Awesome. Thank you for your service, guys. So I always look at every business, right? Why do they put you through basic training?
To weed out the weaklings.
Well, that's one. Here, that's what lead generation is for too. It will weed out the weaklings.
Basic training is meant to break you down and then build you up to what they want you to be, or what for the military.
Right.
And that your mindset is not, no one's a soldier already.
Right. It's to make you a soldier. It's to train you to do the things that the job requires, right? Okay, so here, think about it like this. When you start your career in real estate, lead generation is your boot camp. The reason why we go to boot camp is so you can learn how to respond on command. If you have weapons, I like guns, so we shoot guns a lot. We have a lot of guns. We have an instructor, and he's a SWAT instructor. And one of the things that he said to me, I was like, well, I need to learn how, to like switch out the magazine and the gun. And he's like, okay, you got to do it with one hand. And I'm like, what the heck am I going to do it with one hand? And he's like, if somebody is shooting you, you're not going to be able to say, hold on, Mr. Bad Guy, let me go over here and do this thing. You need to be able to shoot, fire, and load and unload and reload in like a matter of seconds. And I'm like, how the heck am I going to ever be able to do that? Practice. That's why we go to script practice. Is because if you are trying to figure out how to lead generate and build your database, it's going to be hard to focus on two things at once. You need to be actively working in one and building another one. you'll be actively working in your script practice and then you're building your database. Your focus is not the scripts, you're just doing that in your script practice. That's why I said every time they have script practice, it should be full. Like it should be standing room only in script practice. We have agents that are in other KWs that join us for our script practice every day, like all over the country, because we just have that standing time because that's just at bat. When we come out of that and we're in lead generation time, we're building our business. The hardest part for agents to do is to do two things at once. That's why when you come into business, the first focus is the conversations around real estate. Because if you're not comfortable having the conversations when you get ready to go into your database, you won't take notes, you won't call, you won't do the follow-ups. The more you get comfortable over here, it'll transcend into your database. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, so the purpose of the Army basic training is to get you to be able to respond without thinking, right? That's the purpose of scripts. You should be able to have real estate conversations at this point if you've been in the industry for 4 or 5 years without thinking, right? Because the conversations don't change. What's the number one question we all get?
What's the market?
What's the market like? What's your response to that question? Do you have a canned response? So I tell my team we have about 10 questions that I need you to have a canned response to. If I come up to you in the hallway and I say, Mandy, what's the market like? I want to hear the same thing every time I talk to you. Don't tell me nothing different. Don't tell me anything different. I need the same answer every single time. I make them email it to me, and then when I ask them, I need you to tell me the same exact thing.
Which is what?
So I'll tell you mine, but let me tell you why I tell them that. So when it comes to scripts, and I wasn't even going, but you have to first memorize the script. Can't do anything with something you haven't memorized. Then next, you internalize the script. Internalize is when you just make it your own, you set it enough and you can now say it different ways. You're not changing it. You just kind of are now intimate with it. Then you start to customize it, right? And this takes time. I would say this is 1 month. I would say this is 2 to 3 months, and I would say this is 4 to 6 months. Then you capitalize off of it. If you don't ever memorize scripts, you won't ever internalize them. If you don't ever customize them, you won't ever capitalize off it. Here's what this looks like. If I want to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneers and I say, how many people know sports, like football, right? You know, sports have playbooks. Have you ever seen a playbook? You see, they're like this thing, and they're like 12, 13 of them. That's like me saying, I want to play for the Bucks, but I don't want your playbook. If you're going to play here, you're going to use this playbook, or you're not going to play here, right? So when we come into KW, we want to build our database. How are you building your database without scripts? There's a database script that KW has. There's a database script that we have for expires. There's a script for sale by owners. We learn those scripts so when we get into the game, we can play it at a high level. And we don't learn the scripts. That's just like a football player not learning the plays. Here's what I learned about the scripts. There's rules and then there's strategies. Do high school JV football, do they play a different football than what the Bucks play? It's the same football. The goal's in the same place. The touchdown is still 6 points. Extra points is still 1. It's field goal is still 3 points. It looked like the same game to me. What's the difference between JV high school and Tampa Bay Bucks? Strategy. They've been playing it longer. They've been playing it at a different level. They're playing professional sports. See, the JV person, they ain't really going to read the playbooks. They're just going to flex and hope it works. See, at the level that the Bucks are, there's a system and we need you to tap into it and do it this way for maximum results. And they know that they're professionals. They get paid to do that. How many people want to just be a realtor or be a professional realtor? This is why I tell people when I say, don't do anything that you wouldn't do if you had 50 clients, that you don't do it with 1 client if you wouldn't do it with 50. Because here's the thing, everything that we think we have to do, I promise you, you don't have to. And here's how I know that. Your doctor. That's what I tell people. I'm like, when you think of me, think doctor's office. Why do people think that they're gonna call you today and you're gonna be available at 1 o'clock? Can I go to my doctor's office right now and say, you know what? I got an ear infection. I'm gonna come in at 1. I need you to see me. Will they see me? They might, but they might not. But if they don't, I'm not gonna say I'm never going to that doctor again. I'm gonna understand that you didn't make an appointment. Why do we do that with our clients? How is somebody calling you and you go out the same day? Unless you had a time block for an appointment slot. 9 to 12 on my calendar every day is lead generation. 9 to 11 is lead generation, 11 to 12 is lead follow-up. If you call me during that time, you will not reach me. I don't care what it's for. Because I gotta build my database because my database is what I say yes to. So I'm gonna show you guys this other thing and I wanna make sure you guys see this. The database is what you say yes to. If you are with people and as soon as you hang up, you're just running, you're going to get to a point where you're going to be chasing the business instead of having the business come to you. The purpose of the database is because I need the business to come to me. All right. So have you guys ever seen this screen? I know you have. If there's one thing I love in KW, like more than anything, this is it. And I use this to recruit too. This is my absolute favorite thing. Is it updating? Let's see, hold on.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So as far as the scripts, is this something that's in command? Is this something that you can only get by coming to the training?
When he comes back, I'll let them decide. So where do you get your script from?
We used a lot of KW scripts on for our office. Our agents have access to a resource website, a hub, where we have 3 or 4 different script books available that are KW resources that are hundreds of pages long, as she said, full of all variety of scripts. So your office probably has something similar.
So you have an actual trainer, like a productivity coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what PC means, I guess.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, productivity coach. Yeah.
Okay, and then I just need to like ask someone who that is or.
Before you leave today, I'll introduce you to Josh. He can tell you who it is.
Oh, I
Not a
know
re-
Josh.
Yeah.
Okay. I know he just moved here, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I need to ask him.
And that's only because I don't know.
Okay,
he
no,
would
no,
know.
no problem. Okay, yeah, just tell me. what I
Okay,
need to do.
yeah.
I can ask him.
So I'm gonna go over this and I'll tell you, I use Jeff Glover scripts. And I'll tell you why I use Jeff Glover scripts. And are we gonna take a break?
Yeah,
What's
wait, lunch is almost here.
Okay, so I'm
5 more minutes.
Can you spell that? I'm sorry, last name.
Jeff Glover.
Glover, Glover.
And I'll tell you why I use his scripts. And I don't change. I've been using the same script for 5 years. I personally don't think you can master anything that you keep changing. Find a script you like and stick to it. And it's gonna take you a while to get through that process of memorizing, internalizing, customizing, and then capitalizing. So before you get to that part, if you quit, you have to start over. I can't keep starting over. I have to have something already locked in. The reason why, so I do personality-based sales, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about that in lead generation after the break. The reason why I do personality-based sales, and I don't do this with my PC team, I only do this with the agents on my team. Everybody in here should have a KPA. Everybody in here should have a DISC test. So I'll write that down, KPA, and a DISC test. The reason why you have these things is it affects your lead generation and your lead conversion. Here's why. You have to know who you are so you can know your strengths and your weaknesses. A SWOT analysis problem for your business is probably the most powerful thing you'll do where lead generation is. Here's why this matters. I am a high D personality. If you are with me, I will drive us to where we're going to be. Here's the thing. That doesn't work for everybody. Some people don't like to be driven. Some people want to take the scenic route and they want to lead. Some people want a tour guide. Some people want other things. My personality does not work for everybody. I am aware of that and I'm okay with that. Because here's the thing. If I understand my strengths and weaknesses and I can get to know the person in front of me, then I can mirror and match by adjusting my behavior. For example, Jeff Glover's scripts are question-based. You know why I like a question-based script? Because I'm a driver.
Because you get to know people.
Questions slow me down. It stops me from driving. If she don't like being driven, and I've had people say this to me, they're like, when I'm with you, I feel like you're driving me and I don't like it. I'm like, well, aren't we getting to the destination? And they're like, but I don't like the experience. I don't want to be driven. And I'm like, why? As long as we get there, does it matter? But it matters to your clients, right? So when I got his scripts and it stops for questions, then I can't drive when I'm waiting for your answer. See, we want to control the conversation, and you control conversations through questions. If you're meeting with clients and you're doing most of the talking, you're doing it wrong. So his script is, hey, this is Chizette calling from Keller Williams. This is an expired script. The reason for my call is twofold. One, to make sure that you knew your house came up as an expired listing. Did you know that the home was expired?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, good thing I'm here now. Our team specializes in a home that did not sell the first time. The first question I have for you is, had the home sold, where were you moving to?
Where was I moving to?
Had the home sold?
Make something up.
Texas,
Texas. Okay. What brings you to Texas?
my job.
Okay. Have you already started the job?
Yes,
Awesome. So have you already relocated to Texas or are you in Tampa?
I am still in Tampa.
Okay. So when you get to Texas, are you gonna be renting? Does the company have something set up for you?
Gonna be renting for a minute.
Okay, awesome. So I wanted to just share a little bit about you and tell you a little bit about who I am. I also wanted to let you know that I am part of Keller Williams, which is a national, real estate brokerage, and we do have the ability to also partner you with somebody in Texas that can help you with the purchase out there, and we can simultaneously connect that with the process here. I am able to meet with you and tell you a little bit about your property, how I see it on the MLS, and maybe share some insight about why it didn't sell. I'm free tomorrow at 2:00 or Thursday at 3:00 to go over this information. Which would be better for you?
Thursday at 3.
Perfect. Okay. Is your email still jane@kw.com?
Yes,
Okay. And is this a good phone number to send you a confirmation to?
yes, it is.
Perfect. I'm going to send you a little bit of information, but I'm going to be at your house Tuesday at 3:00. Now, the difference between that and that, now that's my scripted personality. My normal personality is, do you know your house didn't come up as an expired? Did you know your house came up as an expired listing? Oh, well, here's the thing. I am Chizette Cowan. I am a team leader in Tampa, and I specialize in getting houses that did not sell the first time done sold. If you give me the opportunity, I can get your house in the market. I have cash buyers, I have investors. I also work with realtors. So now I'm going into all this stuff and I'm making it about me. That's my natural personality. That's how I would try to win you over. That ain't about her. Right? And the reason why you have to know the scripts and have a solid understanding of lead generation, because these are the same conversations that you're going to be having with people when you start to make the touch calls. Right? If every time you call them, you're trying to sell them and not asking questions, you're not going to get the data you need. Think Amazon. Amazon, do you know why they let you save stuff for later? No, seriously, do y'all know why they do that? They're tracking your spending patterns. I can look in all yours. I got about $50,000 in my save for later cart. If you look in there, you will see that I like stuff that is gold. I like flowers. I like coffee. You can tell a lot about my personality by looking in my save later. But that's their form of questions. Do you like this? Do you like that? This or that? Remember, when we're talking about sales-based, you're in a sales-based industry. We have to learn sales skills and add it with our relationship-based approach. right? You're gonna need to mix both. But if you don't know the basic lead generation conversations, when you call people for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touch, and when you start to interact with them, you're gonna throw up on them and tell them about you instead of asking them what they want. The goal for me in real estate, I don't want to sell you a house if you don't want to buy a house. If you don't want to buy a house, I don't care. Do you know somebody that wants to buy a house? Right? I don't want to sell your house if you don't want me to sell your house. Do you know somebody that's looking to sell a house? I want what you want. But I have to stop and learn that and be able to get enough data. That's why I said a database is nothing more than a collection of information used to strengthen, build, and create relationships with clients to prepare them for conversion later. If you don't get them at that first cold call, meaning I'm looking to do something right now, 7 to 30 days, then they go into your database as a nurturer, you're building a relationship with them. You're dating them. Think of them like you're dating them. And you have to get them to like you more than they like the other realtor they're dating.
Yep.
Right? I know when we were dating, you're not gonna date me and another girl, but they're dating you and somebody else. So the goal is to get them to like you more than they like the other person, to get them to understand your value more than they understand the other person's value. But what is your value? You develop your value proposition by listening to what people want and then figuring out how to help them get what they want. Right? So I'm always able to handle objections because there are probably 10 objections in real estate. There ain't a whole lot of objections, right? There's not a whole lot to real estate. The challenge is being consistent and doing the same thing every single day, every single time. That's why I said lead generation. That's the only thing I really want to do in real estate. The only thing I like is lead generation. I don't like any other part of real estate. I love like a cold call. I love it because it gives me the opportunity to see how skilled I am, right? And we're moving into a shifted market, and the sign outside just ain't gonna sell it no more. They gotta know that you understand the business, the industry.
What's your favorite cold call?
Expires. And expires because they're low hanging fruit. They've already signed a contract, so they prove that they will sign a contract, and they already understand that they gotta pay. So I like that because it's my least path to resistance. It's my least form of resistance. They want to sell. That's why the first question is, what would you do with the house if you had sold it? I would have moved to California. Why? What brings you to California? My job. Now I can gauge your motivation. Now I can deal with you in terms of your motivation. When the transaction gets tricky, I bring you back to motivation. My team has an intake form that they have to fill out. If we don't know your client's motivation, you can't take them out. Because I need to know what's motivating them, because what's motivating them is what's going to be what you draw back to when challenges come. Challenges are going to come. It's a part of a real estate transaction. You're going to have challenges. How do we keep people focused? So I said to a lady, she said, well, I got to get to California because my daughter's having a baby and I got to be out there to help her when the baby comes. So when we get an offer, the offer is $10,000 less, and she hemming and hollering, oh, I want to get list price. We listed it at this. Do you want to go with your daughter to have the baby? Or are we talking about $10,000? Which one is more important, the baby or the money? Because right now, if this contract closes for less than $10,000, you can get to California and still have a week to prepare before your daughter's cesarean. If we go and not accept this offer and go back on the market, I can't promise you won't miss that delivery. Which one do you want to do? I ain't tell her what to do. I just presented the options to her and I said, which one would you rather do? Because here's the thing, if she decides I'll miss it because I wanted the $10,000, cool, you miss it, you get the $10,000. But if what's really motivating her is her daughter, she's gonna give up the $10,000 because $10,000 is not worth missing the birth of your first grandbaby. Okay, I'm sorry.
You like to do cold calls with
Love
FSBOs,
Love it.
excuse me, with expires.
Yes.
When you go in to pull the expires, are you pulling the ones that expired last week or the ones that expired 30 days ago?
I call them all, but typically the ones that expire in the last 7 to 10 days, they're just on automations. I'm not calling them. If I'm actually picking up the phone, it's 10 days and longer.
Okay.
And the reason why it's 10 days and longer, remember, every other agent in Tampa or every other agent, period, they're calling them for the first 10 days and they're annoyed, right? And then after a while, because here's what you got to understand, the psychology of people. I understand that people just don't show up long term, right? So here's what I tell people. Have you ever read the book Talent is Overrated? That's such a good book. So here's the thing. I'm not super talented, but I'm super consistent. I already know that if you're an expired listing, I will call you every month, every 2 weeks for 3 years. I know the average agent ain't doing that. I will do that because I understand that if I get you and I convert you, you are mine forever. Here's the thing. When I had a guy list his house with me, you know what he told me? He said, I'm gonna list my house with you because I'm afraid you won't leave me the hell alone. I said, probably. You won't. But here's the thing. If you're calling them every month and they haven't told you to F off, they must be interested. If I call you and I say, I'm just checking in, and you say, well, we're not ready yet. Clearly, you believe in the future you're gonna have a need. So if you believe in the future you're gonna have a need, I'm here for that as well. This is why the database is so important, because if I call an expired and I don't put them in my database and note my conversation and know the next time, remember the frequency, the type, and then the question, if I don't know that for next time, I can't build on the relationship. Remember, the database entry is a deposit. Every time you touch them and add information, that's interest. You get to decide how much you cash in, right? Because the lady that I got 13 transactions from, me and that lady are so locked in that her nephew was buying a house. She gave me his address and was like, I'm going to be over his house Saturday. Just come by. So I get over there. He's like, you're a realtor? And she was like, you live in an apartment. I've been talking to her for a long time. And she helps people that are first time home buyers. You should just talk to her. And I was like, he didn't know I was coming. And she's like, no, but he needs you. Like, hi. Like, so we have this awkward moment. But what I'm saying is she believes in what I'm doing. Her birthday, we went to Charlie's on her birthday. Yeah, I got 13 transactions from her. She's worth Charlie's. Because here's the thing, she doesn't have to do that. The fact that she did that for me, she's helping me build my business. She's helping me create a life for my family. Why wouldn't I take her out to dinner and celebrate her? At Christmas, she gets a $50 Amazon gift card because she's helping me build my business. But how do I know to do that? From my database. I send her a birthday card. I call her every 3 months. I'm building a relationship with her because if you can get 50 people in your database to speak for you when you are not in the room, you have just now gotten in front of potentially 100 people, right? Because you have that audience and then their audience, right? You don't know enough people to build $1 million business. You have to know people that know people, but you got to train them to speak for you. And here's how you do that. You share your goals with them. When I said I call my clients every couple of months and we go out to eat, do you think I'm going out to eat just to hear about them? I'm going out to eat with them to share with them about what I'm trying to do. What can I expect from you? Entrepreneurs are the best way to build your database. You guys should be adding 5 to 10 entrepreneurs a week to your database. And here's how the conversations with entrepreneurs go. If you sell insurance, I don't sell insurance. How about this? You give me 10 names of people that are looking for real estate. I'll give you 10 names of people that are looking for insurance. Mutually beneficial. If you add 10 people like that, you should get 100 names every week. And if I give you a name, you don't give me one back, you won't get any more business from me. Because entrepreneurs understand how to build a business, right? Hairdressers. If you are my hairdresser and you buy a house with somebody else, you're no longer my hairdresser. Seriously, what are we doing here? Why am I giving you money building your business? I'm referring people to you. We don't require the people that we're referring business to do the same for us. Why not? That's a script. You create a script and you call everybody in your database that's an entrepreneur. If they started a business, send them a card. Congratulations. I love to get with you and refer some business to you. You lead with the referral. You come from contribution. You give them the referrals first. And then when they call you and tell you, hey, we closed the business, cool. By the way, I have a business too. I like some clients too. So entrepreneurs, when you said I didn't have a sphere, my first sphere of business was entrepreneurs. Because I knew when I was talking to them, I didn't get the pushback that I got from, for sale by owners and expired, they could be rude. right? If you're not ready for that as a new agent, it can be hard. So I built my business with entrepreneurs. I went to all the local businesses in my area, the bakery, the cleaners, everybody. The lady that I got 13 transactions for, she got my car from the cleaners. Right? So I would go and I'm leading with contribution. So if you go to my Instagram profile, I have what's called Live Local. I will go and spotlight a business in that community. And I say, if I spotlight your business and somebody comes from my Instagram page in here, will you give them 10% off? Right? They always say yes. So when I do my spotlight, I'm drawing you to their business. And I'm going to do a drawing for like a $15 or $25 gift card. I did that in my local cleaners. I did a drawing for a $25 gift card. So keep in mind, she took her cleaners there. She took her cleaner there. She used my $25 gift card. He knew who she was. So then now I said, I need to put a poster up in your business. I put a sign like that, a poster up in his business. No other real estate agent is in there. It's right by the register too, right? I sent them like 6 clients. So now other realtors are asking him, can I put my sign in there? No, you can't. Right? She's first and she's the only one, right? But here's the thing. We all got nail shops that you should have a directory for your database. I got a directory, childcare. If you want weaves, lashes, nails, whatever you want, I got a database of people that are not getting a referral to you unless they exchange a referral. You get what I'm saying? So now you build your database with people that are going to help you grow it. So you're gonna call a quote. Is the lunch here? Can you stop? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm gonna get into this next because this is magic for your database. Like if you have never seen this, get with your PC coach, get your goals into command, because this right here is gonna tell you exactly how many leads you need to have in your database, how many contacts, appointments, how much work you need to do to get to your goals. And I'll show you how I use this method with everybody on my team and how Command will track so much stuff for you if you're using it properly. Like to me, this is like liquid gold. I have never seen anything like this. This is something that, I mean, we'll get into this. We'll talk about
Start on that.
Oh,
when
good.
we Get back. Jim's gonna just say a quick hello. Jim
Hi, Jim.
sponsored lunch for us today.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim Gaffney with America First Home Mortgage. My partner Tom sits right down the hall here every day, so come say hi to him. She said I saw you in Mega Marketing.
Yay! I was gonna say you look familiar.
Yeah, she did a great job. So
Thank you.
Real quick, that save for later thing, I really like that that analogy that you made with Amazon. And I had a lead that came in, a buyer lead came in last night during the Super Bowl. I took the call. And we get to the conversation and the person's talking about their kids. And I said, how old are your kids? Well, they're 13. I said, he goes, actually, I have 2 13-year-olds. And I said, well, what are they into? And he said, well, they're into football and flag football. And I'm thinking I'm a flag football coach, but I'm going to save it for later. I'm not going to go and tell my story right now. I'm going to listen. So I really appreciated what she just said about that. So later on in the conversation, as we're talking about rates and rate shopping, I said, hey, by the way, I coach football. If you want to get registered for the spring schedule, I can definitely get you put in the right direction. That really tied me back to that person, so I thought that was really cool. But I love learning, so thank you for bringing that up. You guys, we've got a lot of food for you, so I hope you're hungry. If you have any questions about anything and everything, finance, buyer preparation, credit, hometown heroes, creating buyers out of renters, down payment assistance, like anything that can help you generate an opportunity, please come see us. We're a gigantic resource for all things buyer preparation, right? We need money before we can do anything else, before there's a house, before there's an inspection, before there's title, before there's an appraisal. The people need money. So please come to us. Let us be your resource for finding money for home financing. And our contact information is out there. And I hope you're hungry. So
Thank you.
enjoy,
Thank you,
guys.
Jim.
Thanks for
Question, one last
Bring
thing.
it back here if you want to. There's 3 bathrooms out there.
If you guys are here and you're able to log in your command when we get back, if you could have your command up, because this was interactive and we were gonna set our goals in command, if you're able to. If you are not at KW or you have another another CRM, you can do it with a piece of paper too, so if you can. Oh, no, we don't put it right in.
I've probably told me a million times.
Oh, yeah, but here's the thing, you have to hear something.
I'm good, I'm good.
I love it.
You know, it's that. So, but I not in the root.
It's just that.
And there's testimony, they go by the fans. So. And I said, Randy gave. She's in gold. Oh, down. I love
Hello, Mr. Ward, you also know what's.
My hair all over again.
I said, I'm telling them, and I'm sure you have plenty of costs. She said, yeah.
So good. I'm glad everybody's working.
Yeah.
You did it through the widget on the home.
Slaughterhouse.
Okay, you can also get there through.
That's fantastic. So you know how we are the number one here on the South Shore. Yep. And then with the conversation with, look at this, this is gonna blow your whole area.
Here. Okay.
My daughter,
Perfect. Thank you.
we chatted, I sent a card, and I sent me a picture of my granddaughter because she has one granddaughter and I have one granddaughter. And at the end of the conversation, she said, "I'll respond. I'm listening."
Oh, I
And then
love
she
that.
And then we got to talk about kids and Diana and Barbie dolls.
Oh.
She goes, a bunch of Barbie dolls still new in the box. I'm gonna give them to you to take to your granddaughter on Saturday.
Wow.
To, Port Canaveral because my kids are coming on a
Uh-huh.
cruise.
That's
But
awesome.
this is what he does, what I do, but I don't do.
And that's okay, because that's how it's always gonna be done.
Way to start the week. I love a great way to start a Monday. Yeah, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you?
Recognize somebody.
You're
not doing good.
very.
No, that's fine. Oh, yeah, I'll grab it and come right back.
Yeah, if you want to read after this.
Okay. Listen, I love database stuff. When I tell you I love database stuff, I love this stuff, like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's funny that, you know, it's like. You're getting caught in.
What's new with you?
Life is a lead generation.
They're always moving around.
There's always get distracted.
Trying to figure out what I gotta do Wednesday after school.
This I heard about this. It's like, look, if you just do. You just do